This country built the most expensive and corrupt sporting event in history, and over 6,000 workers lost their lives. It's 2010. The International Football Association votes on the next World Cup host. 32 countries are in the running, and out of nowhere, a tiny desert nation with no stadiums, no football legacy, wins. Investigations later reveal millions in bribes. FIFA officials are arrested. Whistleblowers say the vote was bought, but by then, it's too late. Qatar has the World Cup, and they build it with the cheapest labor on earth. Thousands of workers are brought in. They live in slums, work in 50 degrees Celsius heat, passports taken, 12-hour shifts, no rights, no escape. By the time the first match begins, over 6,500 workers already lost their lives. Billions are spent. Stadiums rise from the sand, a desert transformed into a global stage. But beneath the lights, the price was buried. This civil rights activist exposed America's darkest secrets. So the FBI made sure he'd never talk again. It's 1946. Charlestown Prison, Massachusetts. A 20-year-old inmate refuses visitors, trades sleep for books, and rewrites his life inside a cell. When he walks out, he's no longer Malcolm Little. He takes the name Malcolm X, joins the Nation of Islam, accuses the U.S. of spreading lies in classrooms, courtrooms, and media. Says integration is a distraction, that real change needs power. He appears on TV, debates professors, challenges politicians. He doesn't just speak, he shakes the system. But the FBI steps in. Weeks later, during a speech in New York, something erupts. He's rushed off stage. And just like that, the movement loses its loudest voice. The headlines blame internal conflict, but FBI memos show months of surveillance, wiretaps, informants, and a memo. Do something about Malcolm X. 2 men imprisoned for the attack were later cleared, and the man who warned about the system vanished from it. A Cambodian monster once banned schools and money, just to kill 25% of its country population. It was 1975. Cambodia, a country torn apart by war. The Vietnam conflict had spilled across its borders. Hospitals were overflowing. Markets were empty. Families whispered prayers for peace. And then, silence. The guns stopped. But what came next was worse. Marching into the capital was a group no one truly knew. The Khmer Rouge. And at their head, a quiet, faceless man who would soon become a monster. In the first 24 hours, Phnom Penh was emptied. 2 million men, women, and children forced into the countryside. Glasses meant suspicion. Foreign words meant death. Every trace of the past had to vanish. They called it Year Zero. And by the end, 1 in every 4 Cambodians was gone. But the man who ordered the killing, Pol Pot, escaped into the jungle. He died decades later, old, free, unpunished. This was the closest humanity has ever been to extinction. And nobody remembers the man that saved the world. It's 1962. Tensions between the US and the Soviet Union reach their peak. American planes discover Soviet missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida. Enough firepower to erase entire cities in minutes. In Washington, generals push for strikes. In Moscow, leaders refuse to back down. The world holds its breath. Meanwhile, in the Atlantic, a Soviet submarine called B-59 is cornered by American ships. The crew believes the final showdown has already begun. The captain gives the order, ready the nuclear torpedo. The end of the world is just one button away. But to launch, all 3 senior officers must agree. 2 nod yes, 1 refuses. His name is Vasily Arkhipov. He stands against his captain, against fear, against the tide of history. Without his consent, the missile never leaves the tube. Days later, a secret deal ends the crisis. The world moves on. and almost no one knows it was all held back by one man in the silence of a submarine. The most evil ruler in history was so cruel. His enemies start calling him the devil. It's the 15th century. A young prince is taken hostage by the Ottoman Empire. They lock him in a fortress prison, chained, starved, forgotten. Back home, his family is betrayed, torn apart. He lives in fear, surrounded by enemies, but he survives. After 6 brutal years, he's released and does the unthinkable. He takes back the throne. He makes one promise: revenge. He invites the nobles who betrayed him to a feast, then has them impaled publicly. He burns villages, then dines alone beside the flames. He invites hundreds of beggars to a feast, locks the doors, and burns the hall down. He poisons wells, builds forests of wooden stakes, his empire marked by fear. To some, he was a ruler. To others, he wasn't human. He was the devil on earth. He was Vlad the Impaler.
Today's lesson is about the time a pope put a corpse on trial. In 897 AD, Pope Stephen VI exhumed the body of his predecessor, Pope Formosus, dressed him in papal robes, and placed him on a throne to face charges. This grotesque event, known as the Cadaver Synod, was rooted in political rivalries. A deacon spoke for the decomposing pope, who was found guilty, stripped of titles, and thrown into the Tiber River. The public was horrified. Stephen was soon imprisoned and killed. It's one of the most bizarre and chilling episodes in papal history.